Could there be some tigers living wild in Alaska? You might think not, and you'd probably be right. However, there are sightings, alleged photos, and even reports of attacks from a particularly large white tiger, all coming from Alaska. So today, we're going to look at that question. Are there tigers in Alaska? I would like to dedicate this video to Zachary Berg 929, who requested that I make a video on the topic. Now, firstly, how would tigers even get to Alaska? Well, it has been theorized that perhaps they are Siberian tigers that made the journey from Siberia over frozen pack ice to Alaska. Could this be possible? Well, there are a few issues. If you watched the video about the tiger attacks in '97, or if you're just interested in tigers, you might know that the Siberian tiger really only inhabits a relatively small part of the vast Siberian region. The range does extend into northeast China a bit, and possibly still in North Korea, but the furthest east and north they seem to go is the forests in Primoria, which is a few thousand miles away from the tip of Siberia that is closest to Alaska. Even their historic range going back hundreds of years, though larger than their current range, doesn't really help. It extended further west and south, but not much more north than east. So even before they were hunted close to extinction, they weren't really any closer to Alaska, at least as far as records show. But hypothetically, if at some point tigers ventured up to the tip, could they have crossed? Maybe. The shortest point between the two countries is the Bering Strait, but even at its shortest point, it's still 53 miles or 85 kilometers wide. Although, during certain times of the year, during winter, the area freezes over with thick ice sheets and pack ice. There are also a few islands in between, most famously Big Diomede on the Russian side and Little Diomede on the American side. Would it be possible to walk across the ice during winter and travel from one continent to another? Technically, it seems like it is possible because people have crossed, but not many, and it's not easy. In 2006, a man named Carl Bushby, an ex-British paratrooper and walking adventurer, attempted to walk from Alaska to Siberia with French adventurer Dmitry Kiefer. Now, you might think that they would just take the most direct route, the shortest route. But the issue is, even in winter, the pack ice, kind of by definition, it's not a continuous stretch. With strong currents underneath, often there are breaks and large gaps in between. Carl and Dmitry had to take a 14-day route across the frozen 150-mile, 240-kilometer section cross. They were also arrested when they arrived in Russia. Regardless, a difficult journey. Would the tiger be able to find a steady supply of food during this odd and lengthy and dangerous journey, especially when it gets to the pack ice? Maybe, but why would a tiger go through all this trouble? Well, maybe we're looking at this wrong. There is another idea that tigers crossed thousands of years ago when there was a land bridge from Asia to North America, sometimes referred to as Beringia. This land bridge was apparently at its widest about 21,000 years ago, according to the US National Park Service. Could a population of tigers have crossed back then and then settled in a remote region of the vast Alaskan wilderness? Well, we had some evidence of that. Kind of. According to the book, The Big Cats and Their Fossil Relatives by Alan Turner, it states, as we have already pointed out, recent studies by Sandra Harrington of skulls from eastern Beringia, modern-day Alaska, now suggest that both lions and tigers were present there within the past 100,000 years during the last glaciation. This is from the 90s, 97 to be specific, but some more recent sources, such as Tigers of the World, edited by Ronald Tilson and Philip J. Niehaus, second edition from 2010, seem to dispute these findings. In this book, it specifically references the work from Harrington, stating, quote, "Harrington also apparently recorded tiger skulls from eastern Beringia, but none have been found so far in North America to the south of the former Laurentide ice sheet that dominated the last glaciation. However, biogeographical analysis suggests that the Beringian tigers are unlikely, and the identification of these specimens has been confirmed as that of lions from ancient DNA." So I guess maybe we don't have evidence of tigers there, at least not right now. Well, why are we even asking this? Why would we even think that tigers might be there? Well, maybe because of the photos we have of tigers in Alaska. The most famous photo is this one, supposedly taken on a trail cam back in 2016. You can clearly see a tiger feasting on a caribou in a snowy landscape. But where was this photo taken? Well, this photo was released by the Togiak National Wildlife Refuge, which is in Alaska, but not so fast. The thing is, the park released this photo around the beginning of April, leading some to speculate that it was perhaps an April Fool's joke. Well, I emailed the refuge, and they actually responded. In fact, the lead park ranger emailed me back, and he said the photo of tiger feasting on a caribou was indeed an April Fool's photo, and I was the one who created it. It was one of a string of several of such photos, and while not well received by everyone, was largely very popular and boosted viewership of our page by a great deal. It was done for fun and nothing more. So straight from the horse's mouth, this photo is a fake. Or well, it's probably a real photo, but it wasn't taken in Alaska. Probably from somewhere in Primoria in Siberia, I'm guessing. However, I did say photos, as there was another one. A more recent one from 2023 from Rowan County, Alaska, and it was reported on various news stations in Anchorage. You don't hear about this photo as much, but to be fair, it is more recent and the quality isn't great. But if we zoom in and highlight it a bit, you can see what looks like a large cat and possibly a tiger. Now first I wanted to look at the date to make sure it wasn't another April Fool's joke, but it seems it came out in October. On the news report, they mentioned that no registered tiger was loose and that the local sheriff was looking into it. But as far as I can tell, there hasn't been any update. I've seen this happen multiple times in different parts of the world, where a mystery cat will make the news cycle for a little while and then just be forgotten about without any resolution. I don't know if this is a real photo or if someone hoaxed it or if it's something else entirely, but it might not be quite enough hard evidence. The photos are one thing, but what about the attacks? Apparently, there was a tiger, a big white tiger, roaming Alaska and attacking and even killing people. A tiger named White Death. The story of White Death is a strange one. It is usually referred to as a singular tiger, but also said to be around for a few hundred years. Not only that, but the tiger supposedly gains an extra stripe for every kill it gets, or at least every human kill, which, I mean, right there it seems like we have already left the realm of zoology and dived into folklore. Perhaps it is just a myth that has been added onto a true story. But what are the sources for this? Where do these reports even come from? I did a quick search in Carl Schucher's Mystery Cats of the World, sort of like the Bible for mystery cats, but no mention of White Death in there from what I can see. It is listed on some cryptid websites, but it seems like the details and accounts actually come from the show Alaska Monsters. I was a bit skeptical, but I had never seen it before, so I decided to watch the episode. Season 1, Episode 5. It's free to watch on Tubi if you live in the US, or if you have access to a VPN. And, well, after watching the show, I'm a lot more skeptical now. The show is a reality TV show, which despite the name, I think we know as being a little staged. This show started with a lot of interesting claims. Right off the bat, they described the tiger as being 1,000 pounds, 9 feet long, and being 5 to 6 foot tall at the shoulder. I don't know about that. A lot of the show turns into that thing cryptid and ghost hunting shows do, where they are searching in the woods with night vision, and you hear a few sounds here and there, and maybe the team even sees something, but by the time the camera manages to pan around, it's already gone. And on the topic of sound effects, I'm pretty sure they used a mountain lion roar, followed by a regular lion roar, followed by a bear roar, all within a few moments of pursuing supposedly the same creature. Most of the dramatic moments come from people falling over, or when they accidentally lost a balloon, or when two of the team were nearly engulfed in quicksand. We do get another photo from this show, but even if it's real, it's not very clear and almost looks like a mountain lion. I've looked up some reviews and articles about this show, and it seems like it's regarded more as almost a comedy than a reality TV show. No hate, but I do think the show is very exaggerated at best, and maybe mostly fabricated at worst. I'd imagine White Death is likely not real. The idea of tigers in Alaska seems to be lacking evidence, but maybe we need to look at this from another angle entirely. Could there be tigers in Alaska from somewhere else? But where else could they come from? What about pet tigers released into the wild? I think we've all heard in recent years about how there are many pet tigers being kept in the United States, but I think this is more state dependent. For example, in some states it's easier to own a tiger than in others, and for Alaska in particular, it seems to have pretty strict rules about exotic pets. Though I do think a single tiger escaping from a zoo or a circus at some point and surviving in the wild without capture is maybe possible, but no records of that, at least from what I can see. Although Alaska is a vast region with a low population density, that doesn't necessarily mean every animal we might find interesting actually lives out there. Sure, if a population was there, they might be hard to find. Although, if I recall Peter Matheson's book, Tigers in the Snow, where they were tracking tigers in the remote areas of Primoria, before they even had radio collars, they used to find them by the trail of footprints they would leave in the snow that could be spotted by helicopter. You'd think that there would be at least something a bit more substantial. I even asked the head ranger at Togiak National Refuge, the one who explained about the April Fool's photo, if there was any evidence of tigers in Alaska, and he wrote, "Regarding your question, I have not seen anything myself about tigers crossing pack ice into our state, nor the existence of any tiger in Alaska. Before I go, I do want to shout out another YouTuber, Gavin the Wildlife Guy, who made a similar video about tigers in Alaska. He dived into more depth about this photo. I actually discovered him when I was looking into this photo. He made many great points, and he may even return to Alaska for more wildlife videos, and maybe even a tiger search. So make sure to check him out and subscribe to his channel. Anyway, thanks to my members and my patrons, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed the video, Zachary Berg.